All right, so finally checked out Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio 2022, and yeah, I thought it was amazing. I'm a big fan of del Toro. I don't know if I've watched a movie of his that I didn't at least like. I haven't seen every movie he's done. I love Pan's Labyrinth. It's probably still my favorite. Um, Probably go with Hellboy 2 next. Then maybe Hellboy 1, then maybe Pacific Rim. I like all of those movies a lot. I just reviewed the reboot of Hellboy. I even enjoyed that. I don't know, maybe there's just something about the character that I really like. But but yeah, I really enjoyed this. It's it's very interesting. I don't really remember the Disney one. Watched it as a kid. I remember it kind of creeped me out at some point. Okay, so I pretty much have liked all of Del Toro's movies that I've seen. I haven't seen The Shape of Water. Maybe I'll try and check that out. But yeah, this is just interesting because there's definitely a commentary on the exploitation of children and them being exploited in Hollywood. You know how they're mistreated, and even how a lot of them don't see the money that they make. A lot of it's stolen from them. And also, this takes place in like late 30s Italy. So there's all of that. And they try and use him to train him as a soldier, which you can get into, commentary about androids and droids and stuff like that that's being used in military now, with drones and stuff. So I thought that was really interesting. Del Toro packs, I think, a lot of interesting things in this. It's almost 2 hours long. It's apparently the longest uh, stop motion animation claymation that's ever been shot. So, and it's on Netflix, and it wasn't released in the theaters. I think this could have made some money in the theaters. I was kind of surprised about that because I think people could take their kids to go see it, and maybe not little kids because it would probably creep them out a little bit, but definitely if they're a little bit older, I think they could enjoy it. But yeah, I just really liked it. There's a lot of heart in it. Del Toro co-directed it with Mark Gustafson, and oh wow, he just died. No way. Wow, I wonder how he died. Hey, he wasn't that old. Died of a heart attack at the age of 64. Oh, that's weird. Wow. And he's skinny. He looks like a skinny guy. Man, wow, but he helped make Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I hear that's good. I haven't seen that though. So, okay, well, you did a great job. This was, I think, his last movie that he directed. Yeah. Oh, that's sad. And this movie kind of has a theme about life and how life is precious. And you only get a certain amount of time on Earth, and you should enjoy it and appreciate that. So, but anyways, that's sad. But they did a great job. Uh, Really looking forward to the Frankenstein movie that Del Toro's gonna make. I bet I'll love it because he has a love for the old, classic horror. And I just saw a picture of it, and it looks pretty awesome. So, well, you got a great cast. You got Ewan McGregor as Jiminy Cricket. Um, okay, David Bradley's Geppetto. Okay, I was trying to figure out who the voice is of that. Okay, he's in Harry Potter. Oh yeah, he's in Hot Fuzz. That's right. World's End. He's in a bunch of stuff. Vern Gorman as the priest. Oh, Ron Perlman as Podesta, who is the um fascistic Italian guy in it. John Turturro. Christoph Waltz as Count Volpe, who's like the evil um who's like the evil, would you say, circus leader. Finn Wolfhard as Candlewick, who's the son of Podesta, and Gregory Mann as Pinocchio. So, but yeah, it's man, it's very well done. The animation's incredible. The stop motion. You know, now you just thinking, oh, this. I'm sure he could have done it, you know, with CGI and computer, and there's probably a little bit of CGI in there, but yeah, you know, you just really get lost, and it's just the beautiful claymation in the movie, and it really just takes you to another place, I think, that, you know, just normal CGI doesn't. And not to knock just a normal animated CGI movie, but it's one of the reasons why I wanted to watch it also, because I just watched the other Hellboy movie, so I started to think about Del Toro's, and maybe I'll go back and watch those and review them. But yeah, and then I was like, oh yeah, he made that Pinocchio movie a couple years ago. I haven't seen it, so decided to watch it, and yeah, it's great. And you know, it follows the traditional story of a father's wish. This is the synopsis. Magically brings a wooden boy to life in Italy, giving him a chance to care for the child. And you have the father, and he has a son, Carlo. And instantly, when you see the son, you're just like, yeah, he's not going to be around for much of the movie, unfortunately, because he doesn't have a son. And the whole thing in this is he wants to be a real boy. I remember that being a more pushed in the cartoon. In this, it's there, but it's more like he just wants to be treated like a normal person, I would say. But and then his dad is like a woodmaker, and he makes toys, and he's making the crucifix for the cross for his Catholic church. And this is in World War One, and they're dropping bombs, and they say they're just and then it's like later they would find out they just dropped them to ease the payload, so it was like an accident almost that they dropped it. And they drop it, and he's in the church, and they're leaving. The kid goes back to get this acorn of his, because his dad was kind of teaching him about how you know, trees are grown and acorns, and I think they were gonna plant it. And the kid ends up dying. The bomb drops on the church. The acorn comes falling out of the blown up church, and then he takes the acorn and plants it in the ground, and then it grows up. And then the dad, over years and years, is going to the grave, and he's very sad. And one night, Jiminy Cricket then comes into the story, and he's living in the tree, and the dad he's all drunk and angry, and then he starts chopping the tree down, and he's like, I'm gonna build a, you know, Pinocchio out of this. So I don't know if that's in the original story, but I really like that even the tree is connected to his son, kind of like, you know, his son's spirit kind of is in the tree, and then he cuts it down and creates Pinocchio, and then he goes to sleep. And it's, I think the movie they call it a sprite. It's like a spirit appears, and everything with the spirits in this, the sprite is very creepy. I think that would probably scare little children, but you can see it in the image for the poster up there. Um, it's like this weird kind of, almost reminds me of like a Greek mythology or something. But I mean, there's not really spoilers if you've seen the original, but I'll just get into spoilers now. But I really liked it. Everyone should check it out. You know, especially if you're a Del Toro fan. But even if you're not, I mean, it's very good. It's a little long. It's like an hour 50, 55 or something, but very well done. So then yeah, then the creature, the spirit, the sprite breathes life into Pinocchio. And tells Jiminy Cricket that he should watch over him and make sure that he's a good boy and he listens to his father. And then if he does all that, then in the end, I will give you a wish, Jiminy Cricket. And there's a lot of humor with Jiminy Cricket. He keeps getting like beat up and kind of smashed against walls and at the bottom of a book. And I thought Ewan McGregor was really good. Really, he's not in it that much. He kind of just appears here and there. He's kind of living in the heart because it's like, it's hollow inside, and he's living in that in Pinocchio. And does great voice work. But yeah, and then the rest of the movie takes place, and Pinocchio gets found out by the whatever fascistic leader of El Duce, and then he's kind of interested in him, which I found all this interesting about, kind of a commentary on the military industrial complex and how they'll just take anything and kind of spin it for war, and I thought that was interesting. And then there's also the part where he gets seen by this monkey who works at a carnival, and that's done by Christoph Waltz, who's in the Frankenstein movie Del Toro's making. So he does a great job too. And then of course he's interested in Pinocchio because everyone wants to exploit Pinocchio. That's kind of the theme in the movie. Everyone wants to use Pinocchio and exploit Pinocchio for their own ends. And is kind of mean to him and treats him wrong. And you could even say Geppetto does that too, because he kind of wants to exploit Pinocchio to make him Carlo, his son, which he never can. And in the end, he, accepts that, and then comes to, terms with that he, needs to treat Pinocchio on his own. And, that Pinocchio, is basically another son that he has. So, and yeah, it's just beautiful animation, vibrant colors. I really like the feel of late 30s Italy in the movie. I don't know, it just all felt like it's just incredibly well done. Yeah, I don't have many complaints about the movie. I mean, maybe it's a little too long, but I thought it was so good. And throughout the movie, he goes to the carnival leader. The guy kind of preys on him, which is the comment I think about Hollywood. I think that's definitely in there. He makes him sign a contract. He doesn't really know what he's signing. He, gives him a bunch of candy and sugary drinks and everything. And Pinocchio really likes hot chocolate. Gives him a lot of hot chocolate and chocolates. And then the father, Geppetto, finds out, takes him back. And this is the first time Pinocchio dies. Then Pinocchio goes to the afterlife, which was I liked how Del Toro portrayed that. It's always weird and different with Del Toro, but it's always interesting. And it's explained to him by, it's like the sister of the sprite, so it's another eternal creature that and it's very creepy. I can definitely see that part, you know, creeping people out, creeping kids out, and explains to him that he's immortal, and whenever he dies he'll come back here, and then the creature, the sprite, will put down a glass, like a ticking clock, and he has to wait there with the creature, and then when it's done he can go back to the real world and go back to Geppetto. So he does that, but Christoph Waltz is like, no, I own him because I have this contract. Then the guy who works for the government is like, no, I want him because I want to train him as a soldier and we can use him in war. And this is like the sad part when Geppetto's like kind of frustrated and they're going back home, and then he says, "You're a burden on me," to Pinocchio, and he doesn't really understand what he means by that. And again, it's like the part of exploiting him, because even Geppetto is, I think that the movie is saying. And so Pinocchio runs away to the circus, and Christoph Waltz, he makes him promise that he'll send him the money he's making, but Christoph Waltz isn't really sending it to him, and he takes a huge cut for himself, and he's like 50-50. But then throughout the movie he's like, oh yeah, but there's expenses, and you know, I'm giving you housing and food, and it's funny, he eats food and drinks hot chocolate, but it's like he's just like a puppet. But yeah, and then later in the movie there's definitely like a Christ kind of imagery going on, because in the end Pinocchio basically kind of sacrifices his life for so that he can go back and save his father who's drowning. There's a really good sequence in the water with a giant fish, which I think is in the original, and that's almost like a it's Job, or wait, is it Job, the giant fish in the Bible? I'm trying to remember, but there's definitely some biblical themes there. And Geppetto's trapped in the giant fish, and then he's rescued basically by Pinocchio, and he's rescued by Pinocchio growing his nose to when he lies, but they tell him it's okay, he can lie, so he does that to grow his nose so they can escape. And then they're drowning in the water, and he's in the afterlife, and it's explained to him that he can't go back right now, he has to wait, and he doesn't want to wait, and it's explained that he can go back right now, but then he'll no longer be immortal. So he does that, and he goes back and saves his father. And there's definitely Christ imagery there, because then Pinocchio dies, but Jiminy Cricket then uses his wish that Pinocchio can be alive again, so he's resurrected like Jesus. There's definitely some Christ imagery. And of course, you know, he saves his father, he dies, he's resurrected. And that's pretty much near the end of the movie, but it's very enjoyable. I like all the commentary on pretty much all of the commentary, you know, on just the evils of exploiting children, and then the whole military industrial complex thing I think is really, really good too. And how in there they have these kids and they're training them to be soldiers, and the kid whose father, Podesta, who's played by Ron Perlman, Hellboy himself, and he is like a very cruel man. And him and his son, Pinocchio and his son, tie in this game, and Podesta doesn't like that, and he wants the kid to shoot Pinocchio with a gun, and he won't do it. Um, but yeah, this is interesting commentary there. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It won Best Animated Feature Academy Award, and it won a bunch of other awards too, BAFTAs, Critic Choice. But yeah, it's the longest stop motion animated film. Wow, Kate Blanchett told Guillermo del Toro that she wanted a part in the film during the work of Nightmare Alley. The only character that hadn't been cast yet was for Spazzatura the monkey. To Del Toro's surprise, Blanchett wanted to voice the character anyway, even though they have little actual lines, spent most of the film making sounds. In the making a documentary, Blanchett Del Toro confirmed that she essentially told him, "I'll do anything for you. I'd play a pencil." Geppetto's deceased son is revealed to be named Carlo. This is most likely a homage to Carlo Collodi, who wrote the original Pinocchio story in 1883. Yeah. Unlike most versions of Pinocchio, which takes place in 1800s Italy, Del Toro decided to set this version in the 1930s. On November 10th, 2017, Del Toro announced that the project was canceled. On October 22nd, 2018, however, Netflix announced that Del Toro was brought on board to direct a stop-motion adaptation of Pinocchio, and Del Toro himself tweeted concept art. Okay. Well, I'm glad they made it. There's another one that's, is it made by the guy who did, it's made by Robert Zemeckis, Back to the Future. And I think that I think that's more traditional or CGI, so I don't know. But was Andrew Desplat had all the instruments for the recording session to score be made of wood. Sebastian Cricket keeps a portrait of the pessimist philosopher Chopin by his desk. Yeah, that part's kind of funny. According to Guillermo del Toro, Count Volpi is a fusion of the fox, the cat, both known in America as Honest John and Gideon, thanks to Walt Disney, and the puppet master from the original story and the Walt Disney version, especially the case of Stromboli, who is an evil version of Kolidi, Mang Iafuko. To drive it further home, Volpe's hair resembles fox ears. He carries a cane with a fox head decor, and his name means fox in Italian. First animated film directed by Guillermo del Toro. Pinocchio was the only model in the cast that was 3D printed. Despite being directed by Del Toro, being director Del Toro's home country, the film was initially blocked from early release in Mexico after an interview which he lamented the state of Mexican cinema and the little interest Mexican government officials gave to new filmmakers and artists in favor of commercial, tried and tested formula, but major celebrities and corporation. By major celebrities and corporation, the movie was finally given a limited release in just a few cinemas all over the country. Okay, so it is given a limited release because it said it made like $100,000, but wow, talk about censorship there. Just because you criticize them a little bit, they like won't release your movie. Crazy. The pale man and fawn from Pan's Labyrinth can see depicted in the church stained glass windows. Oh, that's interesting. Its budget was $35 million. Ron Perlman's 8th collaboration with director Guillermo del Toro. Oh, nice. Geppetto's fussing over how the pinecone Carlo chosen isn't perfect because it's missing a scale. Framing is framing how his perfectionism will be problematic with the imperfect Pinocchio. Right, it's very true. And then he says to him he's a burden, and that kind of shoots off the story of him leaving. The coffin carrying rabbits being made in psychopomps take that Pinocchio to the afterlife are likely reference to the black lab rabbit in Watership Down, which carries out more or less the same task. The film was released a mere 3 months after Disney's Pinocchio, the live-action remake of the 1940 animated film. Rather amusingly, both films have VFX work done by Moving Picture Company. Well, that's weird. But yeah, that's probably about it, though. Oh, Paul Thomas Anderson was originally on board to direct the movie before dropping out. Wow. The first PG-rated stop-motion animated film to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. Christoph Waltz played a Geppetto-like character in Alita Battle Angel. Producer James Cameron was inspired to make the film after Guillermo del Toro recommended him in the manga. That's true. I did watch that a while ago. I thought it was okay. Alita Battle Angel. Right. That's interesting. So, but yeah, that's about it though. If you could do me a favor and smash that like button, really helps the channel. But check it out, Pinocchio. Another solid movie from Del Toro, and looking forward to his Frankenstein movie, definitely. And it's too bad the co-director died like less than a year ago. So, but yeah, it's a great movie. Really enjoyed it. I'll probably watch it again at some time. But that's about it. See you next time.